Hello, hello, hello. Assalamu alaikum. Ji ayanu pakhair ragale ni hao chunashumme washmale. Ohio Gonzaimus, Guten Morgen, ahai, hugs and hellos, Ohio Gonzaimus, kaifa hal, assalamu alaikum. Ladies and gentlemen, you're definitely tuning into PT World and are watching What This Morning. Hello Maha, how are you?
Hello Shazad, I'm very good. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Shazad, how are you today?
I am perfect, but I seriously have no idea what we are going to talk about today because you said on the phone that it's going to be a very special day.
Yeah.
And then I thought that, okay, then if it's a special day, I will let it come as a surprise.
Exactly. Today we are observing World Children's Day, which is an international day. It started off in 1954. It was there to create awareness among children about the children worldwide. It was about improving the children's welfare. And then in 1989, the Convention of the Rights of the Child was passed through the UN as well. So this was a proper, I guess, a recognition of the fact that there are issues and problems that children are suffering from around the world.
Exactly. And Maha, I think I've got a good news to break over here. People might not be aware of that. And back in 2015, within the National Assembly, there was a movement of the bill as well.
Yeah.
When after the chaotic event which took place in December, and we are talking about
It was a massacre.
Yeah, it was a massacre, and we're talking about the APS student. 150 students were martyred. So they recommended that we should actually observe a Children's Day on 16th of December.
But that would be the Pakistan Children's Day. But the International Children's Day as well. It's not about celebrating children and how cute they are and all that fluffy goodness. It's about highlighting the experience of majority of the number of children that are going through some form of violence, some form of abuse, exploitation, and all these things. And basically their rights and freedoms being taken away, which we see within our country on a day-to-day level.
Exactly, and expanding on that, quite a lot of times children over here within our country, because it's an international TV channel and it's an international show, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going throughout or probably across the globe within 46 countries as well. So it's a universal World Children's Day as well. Now, half of the time we do not really sit down with kids and tell them what their fundamental rights are. This year's theme is all rights, all children. But how many children actually know that, they have got this fundamental right towards education, towards health? And then how many times do we actually educate them that if there's somebody forcing you for child labor, just say no. And we do not even give our children the choices which they need to make by themselves within their life.
Absolutely. And also another thing is that this way is the hashtag kids take over. So that's the theme as well for this year.
Oh, now I realize why do we have so many kids over here in the studio?
Yeah, I'm glad you finally realized.
Over.
Yes, so the kids will be taking over today, but before they take over, we have been given permission to do a little bit of conversation with our wonderful guests that we've been joined with to highlight the importance of the day and actually what needs to be done and what is happening on a national level, because they work with local bodies and national bodies, but also on an international level what's happening. So to discuss that, we've been very lucky. We've been joined by Ms. Christian Munduate, who is the acting representative of UNICEF. Assalamu alaikum. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you for the invitation.
Thank you very much for joining us. And before we indulge in any conversation, we have got some cute little fluffy amazing kids over here in the studio with us.
They're cute, but they're not fluffy.
And I'm going to introduce them to you, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. So on my right-hand side, the first one, wearing spectacles and keeping his hands right in front of his face. Don't do that. All right, because your name's the first one, which I'm going to announce. He's none other than Mr. Mahad Saeed, and he's studying in grade 8. Hello, assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum assalam, I'm fine.
That's great.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Besides Mahad, we've been joined by Sybil Salman. She is in grade 7. Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome, Sam.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm absolutely fine.
Are you happy?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
Great.
Is that your happy face?
Yes.
All right. All right. Alongside Miss Sybil, we have been joined by somebody who's studying in the grade 7. She's none other than Miss Azwa Amir. Hello, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Absolutely perfect.
Great.
I like the energy. Keep it that way.
Great. And besides Azwa, we've been joined by Abdullah Fahad. Assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Walaikum assalam, how are you?
Good.
Absolutely perfect.
In the run-through, I was getting everything perfect.
Why are you carrying a guitar today with you?
Because I played.
Mike.
In the mic?
Mike, in the mic.
Because I played.
Okay,
well, how
excellent.
long have you been playing the guitar?
A year.
A year. Wow, that's cool.
Excellent.
And then alongside Mr. Abdullah, we have been joined by somebody who's in grade 8. She's none other than Miss Mahanur Rizvi. Hello Mahanur, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Absolutely perfect.
Great, thank you for joining us today. And before Mahanur, we've actually been joined by Reem Imran. She is also in grade 8. Assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Islam.
How are you feeling today? Yeah?
Did you tell your parents before coming that this is what we are going to do today?
Not really.
Not
Oh,
really?
okay, it's a
my
nice
God.
surprise for them.
Surprise.
Excellent.
Yeah, we have got their teachers
Excellent.
in the MCR.
Okay, excellent. And besides, because we went...
Yeah, and besides Mahanur, we have been joined by Miss Sarim Zariab. Or Mr. Sarim Zariab, well, the name actually got me confused. How are you? Assalamu alaikum.
I'm great
Great,
Thank you very
excellent.
much.
I like
And
that.
you've got a piano with you. Why?
because I'm going to play it.
Wow.
And you've got a special song for us today, don't you? And we're really excited. And besides Sarim, the last but not least, Muhammad Faik, who is also in grade 8. Assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Walaikum assalam. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. This guy is going to be taking over our jobs very soon. I can feel it.
I'm also feeling great.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, so now before we start with you, Chris, we're going to actually ask the children first. So I'll start with Muhammad. As we mentioned, it's World Children's Day. How do you feel about World Children's Day today? Are you excited? Are you happy? What do you think about it today?
It's an occasion of being happy, and this basically this is meant for spreading the awareness of children rights
Okay.
and to
Speak
tell
from your heart. Don't speak from what your
Yeah.
teachers came and told you. Tell us what you told us before. What does it mean to you?
the awareness of children rights to the world, to the people who didn't know it before, and
That's cool. I think that's enough. You pretty much know it. Let's move on to Azwa over here. So yeah, Azwa, we're talking about children's right. Do you think that there was a time in your life when your parents actually make sure that you were sitting down with them and they told you that, child, these are your rights and you have to make sure that you practice them as well?
Yes, actually, my parents had
Wow.
all my siblings sit on the table and they talked about all these rights together. So we are basically aware of what our rights are and what we are capable of.
Okay, so for example, just tell us some of the things that your
Who's
father
going
used
to tell us? Well,
no,
who's
I
going
want
to
to ask
tell us?
as well what
All
her
right.
father was teaching her.
Our father was like the child labor, talking about child labor, how in Pakistan, every 11-year-old young girl is in a household working, taking care of babies, doing all this work. And then talking about child abuse, how many girls are abused in Pakistan.
Okay.
So he concluded all these things in talking about you should always fight for your rights, and that's pretty much
Okay,
Yeah,
fantastic.
that's
okay,
cool.
wonderful. So now, before we indulge in further conversations with the kids and let them actually take over, because today the children will be taking over, we've been lucky to be joined by Chris. Thank you so much for joining us on such an important day. We've given a brief introduction about the importance of the day, but it's 2017, we're almost at the end of the year. The day's been observed since 1954. I mean, that's a long time. What are we still, why are we still fighting this fight?
Well, I think that it's one of the most difficult and challenges that humanity have, and it's because, and I'm speaking from the bottom of my heart,
Sure.
we take children for granted, right? But we all adults are the principal, the main accountable stakeholders who have to take care of children. Doesn't matter what sector you belong to, what role do you play in the world or in the country or in the community. But this is something that is not still, unfortunately, present in millions and millions of adults around the world.
So how do you think that we can minimize this negligence by just spreading awareness, or are there other things which we need to do?
Well, we have to do many things, as a matter of fact, and I would like to say it's not that nothing has been made. If you see the majority of the countries in the world, and including Pakistan, since 20 years back, you can just say that education has improved, health has improved, nutrition has improved, And, you know, basic services like water and sanitation have improved, but they are not enough, right? And they are not enough because we have a large majority of households, and in the households, children that cannot have access to these type of services.
Wow.
So there should be, of course, and now the kids are giving us almost a lecture of their knowledge and why they consider it is important to be protected, or important to be at school, or important to express themselves through music. It is important for everybody. I mean, I'm saying everybody. Of course, one of the main responsibles and accountables are the states, the governments in the world, to guarantee and make possible that these services are there, that they're enough with quality for everybody to attend, each child in each country, every boy, every girl. But on the other side, they're also very key players as well. A child lives its childhood in three main spaces: their home, their community, their school. Of course, we have other children that are in major vulnerability, as you have already highlighted: child labor, child exploitation and abuse. And of course, some or many of these children are not in their communities nor in their homes.
Exactly.
So going back to, let us say, the majority of children who live in their homes, their communities, and hopefully they are able to go to school, you have different people around them who should protect them, who should love them, and who should enable them to have access to these services.
Okay.
But for that, I think it is very necessary or mandatory for all of those people who are going to provide all of these services to have a very amazing childhood too by themselves.
Yeah.
Because for all of those people who missed out on all of these fundamental rights, I don't think that they probably even want to know about what it was or what they could have done within their childhood.
And that's where you media and TV channels and radios play a key role.
Exactly.
Because many of these things is lack of information.
Absolutely.
Right? And many of these issues is also because you get convinced through evidence, right? So when you see these wonderful kids, healthy, bright, spontaneous,
Confident.
happy,
Yes.
happy eyes. The difference is because they have been given the opportunity to develop all their potential.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I think this is the key message.
Okay.
All children, everywhere, have to have the opportunity to develop themselves. And the only ones who can give this opportunity are the adults,
Yeah.
whoever we are, wherever we do.
Okay, and you've highlighted a very good point about the media and the role of adults as well. We need to stop making noise with the guitar right now.
And Abdullah, the best
Yes.
part is that what you need to do is that you need to make sure that you keep your guitar just a bit on the side of your face, because when the show's going to be there, you know, when your parents will be viewing it,
They won't see
what
your
will
beautiful
happen
face.
is that they won't be able to see your face.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
you won't be able to tell it to your friends that it was me sitting with the guitar.
Okay, so now you've highlighted two really important bits, the media and the role of the adults. Now, which we've seen, you know, in developed nations, you see that you see children on television, you see their shows, you see the things that they're creating, all these. But what I've noticed, actually, and I was discussing this as well with people within the organization, is that we don't see that anymore either. Like, majority of daytime television is adults arguing about something, or you know, there's something going wrong somewhere, or there's some form of drama. Now, these dramas. So that is one trend that I've noticed within Pakistan, that the amount of children's shows during the afternoon, especially, we don't have those. So how are UNICEF, because you know you guys are promoting this day as well, and your colleague reached out to me a while ago, how are they promoting and facilitating organizations or people who are such big players within the society and community to say that, guys, think about this. This is working here. So what's happening?
And before you answer, I just got very nostalgic when Maha was talking about it.
Of course.
And it was because of the fact that you grew up in England too, right?
Yeah.
So we grew up over here. The only channel we had back then was PTV. And before we were about to leave for school, we used to have one show, and Tariq Aziz Saab, I think it was Tariq Aziz, Mustansar Santar Saab used to do the show. And then there was a segment with cartoons in it, and we were always getting late, and our mothers were actually shouting on us, oh, why don't you leave, why don't you leave? And when we used to get back home, at 2:30 in the day, there was a Quran lesson on PTV. Then afterwards there was SWAT Cats, Ninja Turtles, and after 5, the adults can actually watch whatever they want to see.
And there were really good messages being for kids. So what's happening regarding that?
I think again, it's of course there is changes in the world, and then all this complexity of the adult agenda is taking over. One of the things UNICEF works very strongly around the world is about advocacy. Later on, we can talk about the practical, more concrete issues we do directly with children, but one of our main strengths is communication, and it's one of the organizations, I would say, that we have the largest social networking, and we bring on board children who are leaders, who can play a role model, but also adults who are well recognized around the world, who speak on behalf of other adults to commit others and convince them to give children a chance. So, for example, the 20th of November, that we will be celebrating the World's Children's Day.
Which we
will be connecting globally around the world. And well, today we are a little bit ahead of time from other parts.
The 20th.
No, I know from other parts of the world. For example, where I am. 20th will be in 12 hours time, more or less. But everybody will be celebrating today.
Exactly.
Right? And we will be inspired and connected by this message of children take over.
And that's what we're going to do right now. So we've got children over here. Now let's ask them, what do they want to see happening in the world? Let's start one by one. What do you want to do? What do you want to see? You know, let's start one by one. What is everyone's idea of life over here in the world?
Take the mic.
First of all, we are the leaders.
Yeah.
Because the Pakistan's future lies in our hands.
Yeah.
So we are the resources that need to be paid attention to.
Okay.
If
we just move the mic down.
We are a very valuable asset to our country.
All right.
And the government and everybody needs to realize this. Because
I like it. Excellent. Good. Yes.
Because we as children, now adults have their own life, and children, for example, in Pakistan, there are no sports grounds. There are no proper built grounds, and for example, some of children work in the workshops. For example, in my market where I live, there's a children who is about half my height.
All right.
But he is working from 12 to night 12.
Oh my God.
And he is repairing bicycles, motorcycles. So when I look at him, I'm very worried, and I'm very sad on this day, because there are, I think so, I don't know the exact figure, but 30 million children who are out of school in Pakistan.
Yeah, it's 46% boys and girls.
Wow, you really,
it's amazing. Moving on to you now. Voice your concerns. What do you want to do?
We'll come back to you, Mahad.
All right. So the first thing that I'm really worried about is how most parents, not like most parents, the beggars on the street, basically, they just send their children to beg. And one day I saw children collecting food from trash cans. I mean, wow.
Yeah, okay. So what would you like to see happen?
I would like to see free education, first of all, because most poor people, they can't afford to pay for really high fees. So yes, the schools are gonna take free education. They might not work as well, but they could provide a great need, and they would fulfill a great right towards children.
Well,
Tell me one thing. I have
Yeah,
a question
sure.
regarding this. So you say that schools should provide free education. Now, you all come from a school.
Yes.
How would you feel if your school suddenly decided that in every year we're going to every class, every class year that you have, there will be one class that we will bring in street kids, and they will come and they will learn with you, and from now on they will be integrated into your classes. How would that make you feel?
And before you answer that, there's one thing which I want the world to know, and that is that public schools over here, majority of them are free, and they charge a very lesser amount, but it's just that the parents cannot afford to send their kids to schools, because if they're not going to beg all day long, what will they eat?
And also the previous shows we've done the last 4 years also showed the other problems that the teachers don't show up and all these other issues as well.
Yeah, so your question was that how would I feel if like street children just came to me? Yeah.
Into your classes?
Yes,
and
into our classes and everything. Yes, in the beginning I would feel weird. But I would also feel happy that they are being provided with their basic need and that they know what they want.
Okay, I like your honesty as well. In the beginning
That's
she would
good,
feel weird.
yes,
Azwa.
Very good.
Well, there are changes happening right now.
Like what?
In about 2 months ago, I heard this news where this woman had set up this whole small school under a bridge where she would where she would bring in children and she would educate them for free. Absolutely, all she had was a whiteboard and a marker, and she was doing a pretty good job, and it was for free. So
What are you going to do?
it's pretty something similar, I guess.
Yeah,
okay.
I hope.
Okay, and then?
Very nice.
And then see, even one person can make a huge difference. So just by one person, you can see how there were 20, 30 kids there. So if we all start putting it in together, maybe one day, maybe, or hopefully, I wish that all kids will get their right of education and they will be educated.
Amazing.
You know, if the future is anything like you guys and you guys are going to take over, then I have a lot of hope for the future.
Yeah, even I do.
Yeah. How about you, Abdullah?
Now, I'm a quite sporty style, so I love playing football and cricket all around. I think it's where I live, there's no ground, so whenever we go out there, there's nothing to do. All the kids, most of the kids, they're playing barefooted.
Yeah.
That's why I feel quite angry that there's the lack of education.
Okay, tell me one thing. When you see these kids without the shoes and they're playing these sports, or they're enjoying, they're still happy kids. They're trying to find happiness. How do you feel about the situation that they must be in? Like maybe their parents can't afford it. I mean, who are you angry at?
Now, when I look at them now, I had one friend, his name was Bilal. He came from Afghanistan, there was war, so he shifted it. He came to Pakistan. He told me that over there he lived in a small apartment and they had no place to go. And he used to work, there was child labor.
Oh gosh.
He was abused and these sort of things.
Oh,
he told me about that. When he came to Pakistan, there was this small shop. There was one room. And it had one washroom. He lived over there with his 5 brothers and sisters and his mother and father. So I feel really sad and disappointed that we're not able to help these people. But we need to push and we need to ask the government to do something for these people as well.
And as we get together, we'll definitely be able to do something as well.
Wonderful.
But
You're
before
so
we move on towards the break, there's one more thing which I want to do, and that is, so you prepared a song for us, right?
Sarim.
Give the mic to him.
Sarim.
So what you are going to do is that you are going to play the
scary,
piano.
man. We know.
So what you're going to do is you're going to play the piano and everybody else is going to sing it with you. Fine?
Yeah, guys?
Which song are we going to do?
Essie Zameen.
Essie Zameen?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. And tell us,
And
wait.
you hold the mic.
Yes.
Hold the mic for him.
Sarim.
Essie
Me.
और आसमां इनके सिवा जाना कहाँ बढ़ती रहे ये रोशनी चलता रहे ये कारवां दिल दिल पाकिस्तान जा जा पाकिस्तान दिल दिल पाकिस्तान जा जा पाकिस्तान.
Beautiful that was.
Well
Thank you very
done.
much. Thank you very much.
Sarim, thank you so much for playing that for us. It was absolutely great. So can we give Sarim the mic, please? So yeah. So now tell me, why are you learning this?
I'm learning this because I love music.
Yeah,
All
okay.
right.
And also, when you grow up, what do you want to be?
A pilot.
A pilot.
Wow, that's
okay.
cool.
How do you think that, you know, playing music or playing sports, how do you think that's going to help you in becoming a pilot?
I don't know.
You don't know? You just like it? Yeah. That's great.
All right,
It's
so
all
I'm
about
going to tell you what's going to happen. So first of all, what you're going to do is that you're going to be in the school. Once you get done with the school, your A-levels, then after A-levels, you're going to go to your university. That'll be your choice. Either you want to go to the university or to a private flying school. Once you're in the flying school, you will come out with a private pilot license and then with a commercial pilot license. That's something which everybody needs to know. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are going for a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back as we are celebrating
World Children's Day.
Amazing. Good morning. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. For everybody who just got tuned into PTV World, you're watching World This Morning alongside Maha Maktoum and Shahzad Khan. Today we are observing Universal World Children's Day, and we've been joined by some amazing kids over here because the theme for this year is all rights, all children, and they have taken over literally. And alongside them, we have been joined by Chris, and now Maha, I think, wants to lead the conversation with Chris.
I do. So we were hearing about the children. You know, they were telling us what their concerns were and what they see, and you know, I really appreciate the level of empathy within these children is incredible. But the concerns they raise about, you know, beggars and have the children are on the streets or they're in the shops and they're working day in, day out. It's not only there, you know, within every segment of society, from the elite to down to the bottom, you know, upper class, upper middle class, you see children working. Children who should not be working, who should be in school. Lots of excuses and justifications are given, but at the end of the day, they should not be working, black and white. There's no gray area in this due to the fact that, well, there shouldn't be a gray area, but because of income and economic factors, it is a gray area. How are we going to address this when the situation is so prevalent, even within educated people? So these concerns, we're all guilty of them as well, of perpetuating the situation. Exactly. How do we, you know, how is UNICEF also, because you're here to represent them, how are they working for facilitating with the organizations and people at the grassroots levels and within every society, a segment of society, to eradicate this?
Well, you know, there are different approaches. So some are technical, where not only UNICEF, many other organizations who work for children, like Save the Children, Plan International, UN organizations
Spark
as
well,
World Food Program, the World Health Organization, all of us, we work jointly with the governments in the world to see how we can help their efforts to provide the services for children.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we still find everywhere that we still need to put children as a priority, as a priority for the decisions, for the where we will invest in, right? So we still need a lot to work on this. And then, of course, there are many countries who have legal frameworks where, for example, child labor is prohibited. or for example, where child abuse is also prohibited, but it's not just about writing a law and a document is there, you have to enforce the law. So in some parts of the world, this is already happening. In other parts of the world, besides the policies, the legal frameworks, they also have, for example, special programs. I particularly was witness and I would say was very privileged to have this personal experience where in one of the Latin countries we helped the government efforts to eradicate child labor in the garbage dumps.
Oh my God, okay, wow.
And
it's because of the fact that there's rules and there's legislation in
and programs. So the families were supported. It was not just about collecting garbage and or recycle. They were given equipment. They were trained. They were, you know, people were the families. The adults took their what they collected to the recycling places with the only condition that your kids should be at school. So the program was open for the children, and it's amazing because once one of the districts began, then it spread to provinces and then to all the provinces, and this was a major achievement nationwide.
So this is one, I think once people see these things happening, they're more willing to adopt it.
The other thing I just wanted to highlight, because of course, the first thing people think about is, okay, where's the government and why doesn't the government provide? And yes, that's a big part of the issue. But the other thing is how we can contribute to change behaviors. So you just highlighted that you can see these type of behaviors in all levels of economical levels of society. Well, those are behaviors. And I think that the majority of human beings in the world have a knowledge of what is right and what is wrong, right? And that is not really difficult to understand if you're doing the correct thing or the wrong thing. And one of the things that is an easy message is what is something wrong to do against children. And I think that sense of what is right and wrong is something that can easily be spread. Children can be one of our first inspirations to reach this. And today, which is the 28th of November, you see the movement, children taking over. Children will speak all around the world. Will ask adults, please let us unite with love, with solidarity, to reach all the children, the vulnerable, the ones that were left behind, because all of them have a right.
And given the opportunity, we have definitely seen the children of Pakistan have actually made Pakistan proud. For example, we have had the youngest Microsoft certified. She was very young, and then we've got a Nobel Peace Prize winner, Miss Malala Yousafzai as well. So, you know, we have to create opportunities for that.
And even on the show in the last few weeks, we had the all-female, the Formula One student team who are going to Silverstone. We've just got a team of kids who won the silver in the science, international science competition. So there is...
and now moving on, we do have a surprise for all the kids, but, you know, Reem, you and Mahnur, you guys have actually prepared a poem for us. Once you are done with your poem, you will be the host of the show. You get to ask the questions from all of us, and we will answer. All right?
Absolutely. Okay, so, no, that sounds perfect.
Go ahead. Which poem is it?
It's written by us.
All right.
Cool. Excellent.
Well, you see?
Opportunity.
Amazing. And
go ahead.
Talent.
Let us lift up the children we love today. Let us lift up the children we have met.
Let us lift up the promise in each small heart of the children we don't know yet.
Let us lift up the children with families. Let us lift up the children alone.
Let us lift up the children with voices strong before all of the children are grown.
Let us lift our world's children together. Let us lift up all children. I pray.
We pray.
Wow, that was cool.
Amazing. That was so
was
wonderful.
fantastic.
And if you guys are okay with it, we will put this publish on our Facebook page and our Twitter as well. 'Cause
All right,
it was absolutely
fine.
wonderful.
So now what's going to happen is that you guys are the
Amazing.
host, and you guys ask us anything which you want us to answer. And who wants to ask first? All
Okay,
right,
I'll
let's
go
move on
ahead.
then.
Mahad,
Yeah.
sorry.
And then you can point towards any one of us that this is the question for this
Yes,
person.
Mahad.
First of all, I would like to highlight the media's role in this Children's Day.
Please do.
Because now you're talking about the concerns of children and their child labor and all this. But you are just talking about it on Children's Day. And there is where the media comes. And this is your fault that you are just talking about this issue. You are just raising this issue on this Children's Day. It should be raised on every day, because I don't think that if there is Children's Day, then we will have to think about the problems of children.
All right.
We need to think about the problems of the children every day,
Exactly.
every moment.
Exactly.
Because as I
But you want to
mentioned-
answer yourself, or you
No,
want
no,
us
no,
to
he's
answer?
making a statement,
All right.
dude, yeah.
All right.
So because I mentioned it previously that that children are tomorrow's leaders.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I would like to ask you that why isn't media highlighting this issue regularly?
All right.
And this is a general, not PTV,
Yeah,
not our
it
show.
is
It's
a
a general.
gentleman. So let me answer. And you know, it definitely reminds me of one of our very renowned personalities under whose umbrella we have actually learned what to do and what not to do. So as a matter of fact, there's World Children's Day, then there's breast cancer awareness, then there's so many other days. And it is because of the fact so that one day when we come up and we talk about this issue, we create a ripple effect. Now, this ripple effect is actually because of the fact, for example, just like Wi-Fi signals. You turn on a device, the signals can be caught by anybody, right? But it is depending on who is ready to catch the signal. For example, we did talk today, you were here today, so now you're ready to voice your concerns. But what about all of those million people who might not even know that it was World Children's Day today? So our sole duty is to come on the stage or probably on the show, talk about it, and then there are people out there who are listening to us. It's their responsibility to make sure that the word of mouth reaches to them.
Okay, can I add something to that, if that's okay?
Sure.
You're absolutely right, and you know, it's about the ripple effect. However, I do agree with you that the media has failed in its united effort to truly highlight the true issues that are being faced by children who are much less off, who are going through discrimination, violence, and abuse. So regarding that, what we can only promise you that is that we are trying to bring awareness to it as much as we can, and all we can do with the organizations that, you know, like UNICEF, like this show, like ED Foundation, like Sahil, like there's so many people, is to try and make sure that they are getting a platform on a regular basis. But we can only tell you that we're going to try, because at the end of the day, everyone's got their battles, but you're right, and it needs to be there. And, you know, as adults, we have failed. I do agree with that. So there isn't a full answer, is there?
Exactly.
Very good
Who's
question.
next?
Well done.
I would like to ask her a question.
Okay,
Yeah, sure.
yes, please.
What is the UNICEF doing for the children of Africa? Because here there is a government, a proper government which is working on child rights. For example, there are I purchased a football, and it was written on it that no child labor. It has been made with no child labor. So the children of Africa, we often see pictures of them. They are suffering from diseases such as kwashiorkor and various diseases. So what is the UNICEF doing there? Because it is a universal, worldwide organization. So what is...
Excellent question.
Yes, no, I'm
Fantastic.
amazed.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So, yes, we do different type of work in Africa. For example, in South Sudan or in Somalia, in many other countries where we have huge numbers of children, thousands and millions of children that are suffering from diseases. UNICEF comes on with those governments, and we directly provide services, health services. We provide vaccines, we provide water, we also provide nutrients. Whenever school is interrupted, and the school facilities are broke down and or destroyed, we come in and we set up temporary schools so we can attend the children. And because one of the main issues that it's really important for a child under an emergency situation, which can be man-made or natural-made, earthquakes, floods, is to try to not to interrupt their daily life. So we help building up the provisional schools. So they're different, but it's not, I mean, it's quite different from what we do here in Pakistan.
Who's got the next question?
Next question. Who's got the next question?
Anybody?
Don't panic, guys.
You want to ask?
Do you guys want to ask a question?
My father and my mother are both very like interested in news and stuff, and I just like, not related to Children's Day, but I'm gonna ask about that as well.
No.
But UN and most people, it's like they don't focus on Pakistan as much as, in my opinion.
Okay.
Right.
So my question is to you that what do you guys?
Thank God
what
it's not for me.
Are you guys going to? What are you guys doing in Pakistan? Which is what I want to know, basically.
Well, here in Pakistan, we are working on education. Do you know it's almost 23 million children between 5 and 18 years that are out of school for several reasons, right? Some reasons are because they are working and the service is not there, etc. So we strongly engage with the governments in the provinces to try to support them in their actions on how to bring more children into school. In some particular geographical areas, we go directly with specific interventions. But Pakistan, I would say it's a prosperous country. So the type of support we give is not like the poorest of the poorest countries where we in other contexts work. So we work for nutrition, for example. And nutrition is not just reaching the most malnourished children, but also highlighting to everybody that all children should have a proper diet. So it's education, water sanitation, health, nutrition, and child protection.
Amazing.
Wonderful. And we've only got time for one more question. So who has a question? No. Right. So you have
to give her a choice.
We have to give one of the girls a chance. Yeah, at the end. Yes.
I have a question that. Okay.
It's okay.
The government of Pakistan. We are talking about the government of Pakistan that the government of Pakistan should do something for Pakistan, like for those underprivileged children. But we can also step into those underprivileged children's shoe, and we can also we can think that what do they need, and we can help them. We can stand up for them. But my question to Chris is that how can we help your organization?
Wow.
Oh, very nice.
How can we,
big round of applause for her.
Like, how can we stand up for those underprivileged, for the happiness and well-being of those underprivileged children?
Very nice.
You guys are such good people.
Exactly.
Really.
We are very, wonderful questions. One of the things I truly believe is that you should spread the voice, for example, that having children in school, it's important. That all children should learn, that all children should play, that all children should be happy. In other countries, of course, we do, activities of fundraising, but for us, what is more important in Pakistan is that everybody, it doesn't matter where in the country, fully understands that having health and having access to education is a priority. On one side, providing the service, and on the other side, asking for the service.
Okay.
So I think you are all clear why this is very important, but it's important as well that many other millions of people know this is important as well.
Exactly.
This is the best contribution you can do.
Tell everyone.
And yeah, exactly. And thank you. We've actually run out of time because we want to hear Abdullah, right?
Yeah.
Our
So
rock
Abdullah,
star in the making.
please, can you-
But before we do, I just want to say that, can I just add to that, is that, you know, how you can help all of these organizations that are working on these issues, that when you see this happening to a fellow child or a fellow, you know, citizen, you can ask them, like Mahad asked us very tough, very important questions, but you guys are the ones to highlight it. That, no, why are you adults doing this? Why are you making this
Ask your
child?
parents, ask your uncles, ask your aunts.
For anyone you see doing something wrong.
I just want to share something
Be tough, guys.
about the power of children.
Yeah.
One of the things we work in districts and union councils level, it's water and sanitation in school, along with ending the practice of open defecation, because that's still a
we've
major
had a show on that
challenge.
as well, yeah.
So what we've seen, and we have evidence, is when the children learn at school the hygiene practices, it's amazing. They go back to their houses and they teach their own children about this, and parents learn and they practice hygiene.
Exactly.
Yes.
Wonderful. So the future's in your hands, guys. You can...
And thank you very much for being here. It is all about you, and it will always be about you guys as well. You're the future leaders. In fact, you're leaders right now as well. Abdullah, what have you prepared for us?
There's a song called Hotel California.
Oh,
by
yes.
Eagles.
Are you going to sing it
By
too?
the...
Eagles.
Eagles. Yeah, I was going to say the Mamas
Are
and
you going to
Papas.
sing it too?
Wow, that's I was 14 years? No, I don't want to
Welcome to
reveal
the-
my age.
So now you...
Mistake.
Wait, no.
It was released in 1977.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to
No,
play
I
it on
wasn't
the
14.
guitar.
And are you going to sing it too?
It's like,
No, I don't remember the lyrics that
Is there anybody who remembers the lyrics?
me, but I can't sing. You know,
little
no, but
bit?
great.
All right.
So we'll sing along anyway.
But you're going to hold the mic for him as well, because if he's going to play, we
Yeah.
want it to be audible for the audience. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have got Abdullah with Hotel California, but before that, I think it's about time that we wrap it up as well, and then you'll have the hotspot.
And you know, what I like to say is that, you know, we talk about what children need, what are their hurdles, but I realized today that we've been wrong. We need to ask them, and also the ideas of how to go forward, the love, the empathy, the tolerance within these children really emulates what this World Children's Day is all about. It's about connecting children worldwide. You know, Mahad's aware of the children in Africa. I mean, we underestimate children so much, and I'm guilty of it, and you can see my reactions, I think. I'm just so impressed. It's just fabulous.
And
so,
I think what I would love to say over here as a father of a daughter is that, you know, half of the time whenever we are nurturing our kids, what happens is that we, at the back of our heads, think about how our parents actually played a role of being parents. And then we try to implicate or probably do it the same way, the way they have done it. But they were born in 1950s and 60s. The kids of today are born in 2000 or 2010 or 15.
Yeah.
Please make sure that you keep up with the evolution.
Exactly. So, Abdullah, and if you guys want any information, or if you want to read the poem again by our wonderful stars of tomorrow and today, do log on to our Facebook fan
This is
page,
with the name of World This Morning.
our Twitter page,
World This Morning without a G.
our Daily Motion and YouTube page,
World This Morning, World This Morning.
and the repeat is at
11
Have a
p.m.
wonderful day, and if you see any children in need, please do help them out. Abdullah,
It's your turn.
take it away. Very nice.
Very nice. Keep on playing. Be the rock star of your own selves, everybody. Thank you very much for being
Thank
here.
you so much,
very
Chris.
much,
Thank you
Chris.
so much.
Keep
and
up the good
today,
work too as well.
Children take over.
Yes.
Yeah. And they have already taken over.
Seriously.
Bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen.
I feel
Look
so
after
guilty.
yourselves. 1, 2, 3. Good morning.